Okay, I'm making sure that we're recording this. We will send out the recording of this session to you by email within 24 hours. And I want to welcome everyone that made it to the session this morning. My name is Chris, and this morning is the first of a series of 12, session one of 12. So the whole series is the Sales Skills Live webinar series. Today's topic is how can you rebuild, re-energize, and enhance your business by making more sales and revenue? Okay, and we'll go into this in the next 40 45 minutes plus or minus. And I want to make a few promises to you. First of all, I sincerely I respect your time and effort in uh, being here with us on this session. And my first promise is this: I will not waste your time. Okay, I promise to share relevant, valuable information on this session, and you don't need to believe everything I say. You don't need to think I like and trust Chris. I'll back up everything that I share with you. That's fair, right? Now, we're also recording this session, so we'll get it sent to you by email within 24 hours. We're going to send it to you as a YouTube link so that you can replay, fast forward, rewind the parts that you want to hear and watch again. Now, all of these sessions are not a pitch fest, and there's no hard selling, and there's no getting you to buy anything at an unreasonable or inflated price. I've attended sessions where, they give just a little bit of information, and then it takes half an hour to pitch, and, it's thousands of dollars. So we don't do that on our sessions. Now, I may offer some services or products, and I'll explain them, but there's no hard selling. And I think this sounds fair, right? If if you're okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you to put your answer um, in the chat as well. So if you're okay with these promises, help me type fair, FAIR. Just type fair in the chat, okay? And awesome, thank you. And you know, I'd like to ask you a favor. You'll probably have questions along the way. So you can either type your questions in the chat or write them down, and you can ask me at the end of our session during the question and answer. Sound good? Okay, awesome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I'd like to share a quick situation that we experienced with a client. We have a client in financial education. They weren't doing too well even before 2020, 2019. They've been around for a number of years. They had very few leads and very few prospects. And of the leads and prospects that they only had a 10% closing ratio, and they were generating about 10,000 in revenue a month. So, it wasn't good at all. So I was speaking with the owner. I asked him these questions, right? So I said, do you really want better results and better income? And if the answer is yes, then you must realize this: do I have the right skills? Do I have the right techniques? Am I taking the right action? And he agreed with me, and he said, Chris, you're right. So he said, you know what? I'm going to do this, Chris. I'm going to listen to you. And will you teach me the right skills, the right techniques, and the right actions? And that's exactly what we did. So we ran a very intensive sales skill and social media training with them. So there's two components of this, right? The marketing, which was the social media services part, and this generates the interest and the qualified leads and prospects. And then the selling part, which is where the sales conversion takes place, selling to close the deal. And so after going through the training, the whole process and the follow-ups, the follow-up sessions, within 3 weeks, right about 3 weeks, this is the results that they had. Closing ratio right about 75%, actually a little bit higher than 75% in certain instances. And they were now generating, 130,000 a month. So we turned them from doing 10,000 a month to 130,000. And so, we turned them into $1 million company. So can you imagine if you if you experienced something like this? All right. So here's the messages that I got from the owner. All right. So he's reporting their activities. We got a 75% success rate, 12 prospects, 9 sign up out of 12. The following week was 81% closing ratio, 9 sign up out of 11. Um, and one of the things that was really interesting, he said, um, I have so much confidence that I will hit 1,000 packs this year with your assistance. And he says it again, I have so much confidence in my skill. All right. So we'll come to confidence in a little bit on this session, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So our current situation is this, right? You see, business, even before 2020, business is already challenging, isn't it? And this year, maybe also for the foreseeable future, we're going to have these challenges stay with us. First of all, of course, we have COVID-19, and of course, this affects the economy, and people are hesitant to spend money. And I'll reframe the hesitation. It's not so much the hesitation. What they want to see is that they're going to get value, and they're going to get benefit out of what you are offering to them. Then you add in the restrictions that we have, like restrictions on our movement, challenges in meeting up in person, and so we try to meet online, right? And then that presents, a whole new set of challenges. I'll give you an example. For example, I tried to follow up with a client a few weeks ago, so I called the office and I was told, oh, he's working from home, these few days, right? Uh, so I asked how can I get in touch with him, and then I was told you got to call his mobile. And I said, okay, let me have the number. And they refused to give me his mobile number. All right. And they said, oh no, we cannot. The mobile number is private. They refused to give out the mobile number. So then we have the challenge. We have to work from home. I called the office, don't have his mobile number. He's working from home, so I got to talk to him rather urgently, and they refused to give me his mobile number. Right. So thankfully, this was not our only prospect. And when you take all this, right, the pandemic, the economy, the restrictions, and the uncertainty, when you combine all of this, what we have is what you see on your screen, uncertainty. All right. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's what I believe. This pandemic is not what is breaking us, nor is it causing all of our problems. That's very interesting, isn't it? We're all affected by this, but it's in business, it's not causing all of the problems. It's causing some of the problems. You know what this is doing, right? 2020 is actually revealing what was already broken. We just didn't realize it. All right. We thought we were chugging along. We were doing okay, and then something hits us, and then most times very quickly it's resolved. But this has been going on pretty much the whole of this year. I think since February or March, for most of us, and we're now in December. So it's like 10 or 9 of the 10 out of the 12 months that we have. So the pandemic is showing us what we need to fix, and it's telling us that we need to fix all of this now, because we're in December 2020. We're going to continue experiencing this in the foreseeable future into 2021. Who knows about 2022, right? And so this is the reason why we created this webinar series, is to help you fix a few things so that we can do our very best to have a better year in 2020. So let's do that, okay? Now, I want to share with you a message that I got from a client in Philippines, from Cebu, right? So this year, 2020, one of the worst years we're going through now. Received this thankful and exciting message in June. This young real estate professional, going through a tremendously hard time in the first half of the year. Went through a training with us and made a sale within 2 days. Commission was about 4,500 USD. Now, what if you were able to experience something similar to this? Whatever your business, whatever your profession is, whether it's you leading the charge to get revenue, or you have a team with you that you need to guide to get revenue. Um, what if you or your whole team was able to experience something like this? Now, we do have obstacles in front of us. We actually have excuses. The two excuses that we constantly make: no time, no money. We've we've all said these things, haven't we? You see, we do sessions. We do webinar sessions, live sessions. Live sessions not so much this year, right? And everyone says, "Oh yeah, I want to go. I want to attend. I'm going to do it." And then something comes up where it says, "Oh, you know what? I don't have the time. I don't have the money to do this." So we got no time to learn, no time to go on a long vacation, no money to invest, no money to fix the car, no money to buy a new watch, a new computer, whatever it is, right? I want you to commit to no more excuses. Okay? But that's very easy to say. What we need to do is we need to change the question. Instead of saying that, we ask this instead. If the quality of my life depended on it, what would I do? And if the happiness of my family depended on it, what would I do? The best investment you can make is for you to invest in yourself. Okay? And I want to let you know up front, I'm going to be selling you on this session today. What I'm going to be selling you is the idea that you can do more, earn more, and achieve more. I'm going to be selling you to yourself. All right. I'll offer you a couple resources at the end of the session. Actually, the resources I'm going to offer you, there's no charge as well. It's free, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Near the end of our session. Um, and I want you to judge me on the quality of the information I'm about to share with you, and I hope that's fair to you. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit about myself right now. The things that you see on your screen, those are, whatever it is, right? But I want to tell you the roots and the foundation of my background and how I ended up here in front of you today. Okay, so on the left side of your screen, that's me as a kid. My dad's American, my mom's Chinese. Growing up was a bit hard because my dad passed away when I was about 7 years old. So my mom brought up my brother and I, and we went through some tough times growing up. I got into a lot of trouble in school. Didn't do too well in school, and often didn't have enough money to buy the things that I wanted, or do the things that I wanted to do. Now, I'm not complaining. Others have a harder life than me, and but what I'll say is this: when you're going through it, it's just not fun. So I managed to complete my O levels. That's like high school. Passed my A levels. That's like junior college, right? But my results weren't good enough for a good job. So I found a job at a polymer factory, and my job was to carry the 25 kg bags of powder of chemicals up and down. The factory was like two stories tall. So excuse me. So I did that for about 8 months. Then I joined the army. Now, when I joined the army, I actually signed a contract. My contract was for 6 years, and after I went to recruit, and I went to officer school, I became a commando officer, and I learned many things that gave me the foundation for the rest of my life. Discipline, determination, adapting and overcoming situations. Among other things. Now, when my contract was up, I floated around for a little bit, and then I decided to move to San Diego. I moved to San Diego because I had an uncle there who owned a ranch in a tiny town called Ramona. So, that horse thing. That's the structure leading into the town. And then if you look on the bottom left of your screen, that's the road leading into the town. That's the whole town right there. All right. So he still owns the ranch. So I became a farmer, right? Actually, I thought I was going to be a cowboy, but I was just a rancher and the guy that carried everything and cleaned everything. So at this point, I was a bad student, a factory worker, soldier, and now a ranch hand. Now, doing the rest of the things, I was okay with it, but this was something I didn't like. So I started looking for something else. And so my uncle introduced me to a guy that owned a company called Big O Tires, and I interviewed there. And Big O Tires, on the right side of your screen, you see they do the tires. Um, I thought I was going to be a branch manager or at least a supervisor, right? So I interviewed there. I got a job. I was hired as one of the guys that changes tires. Now I kind of liked the job. It was physically demanding, and you had to think a little bit, right? So one of the stores, I liked the job until one day they said, we need to advertise more, as if that Big O Tires sign is not big enough on the building, right? So the idea was to bring all the tires out from the storeroom and display on the sidewalk or the roadside that you see on your screen. And we had to make 64 piles of four tires each. And the guy whose job it was to bring all that out in the morning and bring them all back in at the end of the day, that was me. So after a few days of this, I was aching all over. I mean, it's no joke carrying 64 piles of four tires each, right? I was aching all over, and I said to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. So when I said this, that's when my eyes opened. When I made the decision that I wasn't happy or satisfied, right? So one of the things I want to share with you is if you want more, then you need to be unhappy with your current situation, your current results, your current comfort level. If you're comfortable, you're not going to change. So I saw these guys bringing cars in, several cars, and I said, hey, you know what? How come they can own so many cars? So I decided to have a conversation with them, and turns out it wasn't their cars. Those cars didn't belong to them. They said, oh no, these actually belong to our customers, and we're helping them change the tires. So I said, what do you do? So they said, we sell cars. I said, can I earn money from that? And they said, yes. So I went to apply at a whole bunch of different places. Ford, Chevy, Mitsubishi. Like I applied at nine or ten different places, rejected at all of them until I got to Toyota. So I was hired there. The first month I was there. Now the average person selling Toyotas would sell about 8, 10, 12 cars a month. My first month there, I sold three cars. Okay, so I was, but honestly, truthfully, I was enjoying myself and it was a lot of fun. But I needed to make more money, so I learned from the best guys. I learned from everywhere that I could. I enrolled and attended in sales workshops, sales seminars. I bought sales books and I read them. Back then it was audio tapes. This was in the mid '90s. I was 24, 25 years old. That tells you how old I am now, right? So I bought sales books and audio cassette tapes, and I studied and I listened. I studied a lot. I listened a lot. But the most important thing, this is the most important thing, I applied what I learned. When I did all this, 2 months later, I sold 28 cars, a new record. For the next 3 years, I was always in the top three. And there were three main things that I learned that made me a lot of money. The first is marketing, selling and negotiating, and working my ass off. So I'm going to share very quickly my tax return in 1995. In 1995, at the age of 25, I made about 93,000 US dollars. 93,000 US dollars in 1995 at the age of 25, that was a lot of money. The next year, 1996, it went to 109,000. 1997, it went up to 117,000. Now, that's not bad for a kid who was a lousy student, worked at a factory, was a soldier, farmer, tire changer. And one of the first things I realized is that it does not take talent for somebody to succeed. I know that because um, I don't really have a whole lot of talent. What I do know is that I have to get new skills and improve my skills, and most importantly, apply myself, implement the skills, and take action. Now, 1998 was a turning point because I started my business and entrepreneurship journey in 1998. In the spare bedroom of my apartment in San Diego, I started a company, and I was cold calling and selling like a madman for 6 to 7 hours a day, five days a week, 6 days a week. Now, doing this 4 months later, I opened up an office and I started hiring. I hired sales team, admin team, fulfillment team, and 22 years later, I have offices in 3 countries and clients in 14 countries. Now, since then, since that time, now I faced these challenges starting in 1994, recession in the U.S. in 1994 to 1996. Now, you know, people were saying, oh, recession, recession, right? In 1994, 1995, 1996. At that time, I didn't know what a recession was. I really didn't know. Okay. Um, and because I didn't know what a recession was, I was still able to earn 100,000 a year. I hope that kind of makes sense. All right. Everybody says, oh, people aren't buying, people aren't spending, and I didn't know what all that was, and I still earned. Then in the first few years of my business, 9/11 9/11 hit. 9/11 was devastating in the U.S. Especially in San Diego, California. It's a military town, a lot of military in San Diego. So I saw multiple, multiple clients uh, shutting down. My neighbors in the same office complex, I think close to 40, maybe even 50% was shutting down. Okay, and then again in 2008, the financial crisis caused me to close down one of my other businesses that was in the mortgage and banking industry. So all of this, SARS around 2010, it didn't really affect me in the U.S. But it affected a lot of companies, a lot of people, around the world, especially in Asia. And then of course now we have COVID-19, right? Here's what I learned in all these years. Through all the obstacles, through all the setbacks and challenges, I learned a very important lesson. Buyers are always buying, and sellers should always be selling. What does this mean? Regardless of the economy, regardless of the political situation, regardless of the weather, or any situation for that matter, there will always be buyers. There will always be buyers for any product and service. And you should be striving to be the one selling to them. Now, let's start with this first. You need to make sure of a few things. You need to make sure that your product or service must have quality. It should be at a reasonable price, not inflated and overly expensive. Um, and tied with the reasonable price is the exceptional value. Now, I'm not asking you to make your things cheaper. What I am saying is that it has to be reasonable, and how you get to a reasonable price is you offer exceptional value and you back it up with excellent service. So you have a few things. You have the quality of your product. You have a fair price, exceptional value, and you have you in the equation to make sure that all of these points are hit, right? And what I've learned is that there's no magic formula, there's no shortcut to success. But if there was a magic formula, it would be this: you need to have the marketer mindset. All right. It starts with being unhappy or dissatisfied with your current situation. I'm not saying unhappy like complaining every day at the coffee shop, or you know when you have a family gathering, you just talk bad about everything. What I'm saying is that you must be unhappy or dissatisfied with your current situation. You must be unhappy or dissatisfied with your current income, your current revenue, your current results. And then you got to say, you know what? I'm tired of this. So you got to make a decision and you got to say, you know what? I don't want this anymore. So the first is you got to be unhappy or dissatisfied. Then you got to say, I don't want this anymore. And the next part is you have to take action. This is where most people lose out, right? Most people say, I'm unhappy, I need to do this, and then they don't do it. So here's the real solution. Here's the real solution and the success formula for any business, for any profession. It doesn't matter what your business is. It doesn't matter what your profession is. If you're in the revenue generation, if revenue generation is your responsibility, this is the formula: prospects, turn them into customers, and it gives you revenue. All right. Leads, lots of leads solves lots of problems. Okay. When you have nobody to talk to, you got nobody to sell to. All right. You must have a focus on generating leads every single day. When you generate a lot of leads, then you have more options. And then, if let's say you generate 10 interested leads a day, for example, and two out of the 10 yell at you and say, "Don't ever bother me again. Get away from me. I'll never buy from you." Two or three out of the 10 will say that. It doesn't hurt as much. I mean, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much. If you only have one or two leads a day, okay, and they say that to you, that's 50% or 100% of your leads gone for the day. So you have to focus on lead generation and client conversion, and that gives you success. So I want you to remember this distinction. Lots of leads solves lots of problems. So how do you get leads, right? How do you get into that mindset? You got to have the you got to shift your mindset, and you got to shift your actions. So whatever your business, whatever profession, whatever you're selling, that should be your priority. I'm not saying forget about quality, admin, and all those things, right? But your priority should be marketing and selling. Um, let me illustrate that with an example. Let's say you're a baker and you own a bakery, and somebody asks you, "What do you do?" So maybe you can do me a favor. Maybe you can do me a favor. I'm going to ask you a question in a bit, and I want you to answer with a yes or no. All right? But let me set it up first. So someone asks you, "Hey, Chris, what do you do?" Most people will answer, "I'm a baker," and yes, you are. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to shift your mindset to this. I'm a marketer and I'm a business person, and my products are baked goods like bread or cakes. Okay, and I want you to answer this by typing your answer in the chat right now. Does this make sense to you? So instead of saying I'm a baker, you know, think of yourself as a marketer, and my products are the baked goods. If you sell insurance, you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur that sells insurance products, for example. All right, and when you can change to this mindset, then we can proceed to the other skill sets that you must have as a marketer. Okay, hold on, let me check one thing real quick. Okay. All right. Now, if you have questions along the way, you can type it in the chat, or you can write it down, and then you can ask me at the closer to the end of our session. We're going to have a Q&A, a question and answer session, before we end off today. All right. So the marketer mindset, basically is the ability to continue functioning in the face of challenges, obstacles, and uncertainty. So I shared the formula with you earlier, on how you can develop a better mindset. You see, you cannot just create confidence and suddenly become self motivated. It's like we have choices in everything that we do. We either do it or we don't. Now, let me ask you a question, okay? And I want you to answer this in your head. Have you ever thought that you wanted to get more healthy and fit? Most of us have, right? And then you say to yourself, "I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to go for a 5 km jog, and I'm going to have a healthy breakfast." Then, when your alarm clock rings at 5 a.m., we're faced with two simple choices. Two simple choices. Either you wake up and get up, or you go back to sleep. And we face this dilemma every day. We face this dilemma in everything that we do. We don't feel like doing this. Okay, we know that we need to make cold calls, or we know that we need to do this to generate leads or prospects. We know we need to follow up, but we don't feel like it. We just don't feel like it, right? The confidence and the self motivation that will come when you experience success. If you don't have confidence, if you don't have self motivation, you replace it with discipline. You replace it with discipline and a regimen of activities that you need to do. All right. Forget about confidence and self motivation. If you can instill discipline, if you can instill discipline in your sales and marketing activities, in your business activities, okay, um, that will give rise to more leads, more clients, and more revenue, provided you're doing the right things, and that will give you confidence and that will give you motivation, right? Then we get into the marketer skill set. Now, the marketer skill set is really two things, all right? Lead generation and client conversion. And you focus on the systems and processes. It's not like, oh, what am I going to do today? Oh, I wonder how many leads I'm going to get today. Oh, where am I going to find my next lead? Uh, you cannot run a business on hope and pray. I'm not saying don't hope and pray. What I'm saying is that you cannot run a business only on hope and pray. You must have systems and processes in place that help you generate your leads, that help you nurture and build relationship with these leads so that you can convert them into clients. Now, generating leads, generating leads, these are, this is an important skill and function that ensures the viability, the profitability, and the longevity of a business. It doesn't matter the product or service, whether it's intangible or tangible, whether it's local or global, whether it's online or offline, whether it's B2B, B2C, B2G. B2G is business to government, right? Whether you're in real estate, property, you sell insurance, pharmaceutical, retail, wholesale, business owner, entrepreneur, sales professional, marketing professional, it comes down to attracting qualified and interested leads and prospects, and you convert them or turn them into customers. I'm sure you would agree with me, right? Let's break down lead generation. There's four main components: the prospecting, the qualifying, the presenting, the social media. Prospecting activities that you need to do in order to find interested leads and qualified prospects. And we'll cover this exact topic, the prospecting, on another session, and I'll tell you about those sessions. Closer to the end of our session here. All right. Then you have qualifying. Qualifying is the activities, the techniques, the actions, and words you need to use or you need to implement to determine if the leads and prospects are interested and qualified, right? Then presenting, providing information and determining if your product, your service, or your offer satisfies their needs and solves their problems. And then, of course, you have the social media, the platforms, the content engagement, the funnels and the postings, and the ads that you would use to attract these leads, prospects, and customers. Okay. Then we get into what do we need to do to close the deal, to get more clients, to get revenues and profits. Persuasion. What are you going to say, and what are you going to do to demonstrate to the prospect that they need you? Handling objections. Most business people, most sales professionals, they're afraid of handling objections. I uploaded a video just a couple days ago that tackles this exact topic. I'll send you the link on that as well, so you can take a look at that. All right, it's a video, a quick video that I did that talks about handling objections. So, how do you handle? I'm not interested. How do you handle check with my wife, my husband, my partner, my boss. How do you handle, hey, that's too expensive. I don't have the money. I don't have the budget. How do you handle, I don't think I need it. I don't see the need. How do you handle, don't have the time to talk to you right now. Don't have the time to deal with this right now. Call me later. How do you handle my auntie, my uncle, my neighbor, my cousin, my brother, my whoever is doing this and selling this? I should support them. Okay. Then we get into closing. Average salespeople close by saying, "Hey, so what do you think? Or do you have any questions?" So these are tired, ineffective, lame, and unprofessional. Why not close like a true professional with effective ways of closing the sale? Then follow up. Follow up over 80%. In fact, I think it's higher than that. But most studies show that over 80% of the salespeople, entrepreneurs, and business owners really, really fail at follow up. Okay, most follow up ineffectively, uh, inefficiently, and unprofessionally, and they only follow up one or two or three times, and then they stop. They go, oh, they don't take my call. I got to stop. I followed up for, as short as, well, days, but in the long term, as short as 6 months. I followed up for as long as 2.5 years to close the deal. Okay. So most average salespeople or business people only follow up one or two or three times and then they stop. Here's the sad part. You've already done most of the work. And if you stop at that point, what a waste, isn't it? I want to share some comments. When clients engage us, you know, they they break down the incoming leads. They break down the incoming leads. 64 leads in 4 days, and they've never experienced this before. Whatever your business, whatever your profession, whatever your product or service is, how would you like to get 64 leads in 4 days? Okay. And then this one, they increase their sales by 400%. Okay, four times. What would it mean to you if you were able to increase your sales by 400%? That'd be a good thing for you, wouldn't it? So I'm going to give you an offer now. There's no charge and there's no fee. All right. If you want to hear about the offer, continue watching and listening to me right now. We have 11 other sessions. Today is the first session, session one of 12. All right. We have 11 other sessions that we're having. There's 11 more. You can view the rest of the topics and dates. I'll send you the link to view the topics and the dates in the email that I'll send out to you within 24 hours. What I would do is I would encourage you to check out the topics and check out the dates. They're all going to be Friday except the week of Christmas and the week of New Year. We had to change those. I'll send you the links so you can look at the topics and the dates. And I encourage you to register for the rest of the 11 sessions. All right. Now we're going to go into our Q&A in about a minute or so. So I want you to think of the questions or write down your questions and ask me your questions. You can even ask me your questions. Put your video on and ask me the question. All right. I'm here to answer them for you. So I'd like to share a couple resources with you. I have two free things for you. I have a Facebook and a social media ad campaign checklist, and I have a Facebook and social media post and ad structure guideline. So the checklist tells you the things that you need to do to run your ad and social media campaign, and the structure tells you how you write the ad and how you write your post to get interest and generate inquiries. I'll get these sent out to you together with the recording of this session. And in the email, there will be a link for you. You have to request for it, okay? Uh, in the email, there'll be a link for you to request these documents. And when you request it, I'm also going to send you a special program on getting your digital marketing funnel set up and ready. And all the details will be sent to you within 24 hours. All right? Does that sound good? Okay. Um, we've come to the question and answer portion of our session together. Let me clear out my screen. And so, what I like to do now is, if you have questions that you've had, that you've written down, um, during our session together, please feel free to ask your question. You can type it in the chat, or you can, unmute yourself. You can put your video on so that you can ask the question. All right. Oh, Donna, thank you. Most welcome. Coach D, thank you. Most welcome. Okay. So, do we have any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Um, I One of the things I forgot earlier is this. Can you type in the chat what your business is, and what is it that you do? Just type in the chat, Donna, Texan. Uh, okay, awesome. Okay, no problem. You do IT. Okay. When you say IT, what do you mean? Do you provide IT services, or is it hardware or software? And Donna, what is it exactly that you do? Cloud services, education. Okay, no. Let's see. Texan is cloud services and server hardware. Okay. Donna, education consultancy. Okay, awesome. So, if there are no questions, I'm going to wrap up in the next 30 to 45 seconds. I want to let you know that it was my pleasure to have all of you here with us this morning, and I'll send you an email within the next 24 hours with the recording of this session, and I will send you the links of all the and the materials that I promised during this session. And what I would encourage you to do is take a look at it. Um, request for the additional resources that are free. Register for the additional sessions that we have. And I want to thank everyone for the time that we shared together here this morning. And let's connect soon. All right. So if there are no comments, if there are no suggestions, um, I'd like to ask a favor. If you can put your video on, I'd sure love to take a screenshot, and I'll share the pictures with everyone as well. Can we go ahead and do that, Texan and Donna? Yes. Okay. Awesome. So let's have you put your videos on, so I can take a screenshot, and then of course I'll send this out to you as well. Okay. Looks like Tixon had to go away for a little bit as well. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and take a screenshot right now. Give me a big smile. Awesome. And I'm no problem. Uh, Donna, I noticed that you had two. The gentleman, I know you're not Donna. What is your name? Just type in your name, just so I can address you the right way. Or do you want to just unmute yourself and tell us your name? Zam. Zam. Did I pronounce it correct? Zam? Okay, awesome. So let me take one more shot here. Everybody give a great big smile. Great big smile. Zam, I know you can smile better than that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for the time that we shared together here together. And I want to wish everyone to have a blessed weekend. Let's stay safe, take care of ourselves, have an awesome weekend, and I'll connect with all of you very soon. All right. Have a fantastic day. Awesome. Thank you. Most welcome, Donna. Well, I don't know if it's Donna or Zam now in the chat. So I'll say thank you to Donna, and I'll say thank you to Zam. Zam. Is it Zam or Zam? One or two? Zam, Zam. Two, Zam. Okay, awesome. All right, I will end the session in about 30 seconds, and just give a wave when you're leaving, and we'll connect with all of you soon. All right, take care, everybody. Bye. Coach D, I'll send you another link so we can have a conversation. Thank you, everybody. Everybody, stay safe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay, thank
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you're still recording.